Hey, better watch it. I hit her, yeah. Hit, diamond, hit, chain, hit, yeah. Okay, better watch it. I hit her. Free food, hit. Free food. Free food, hell. Bitch. Yeah, in the mail. No, I got plenty. Hey, send me. Caught a big bad and it sound like a hit. Yeah. Listen. We wanna start beef from a finish. I'm my baby. Boom, I tell you, on the business. I put him on the ceiling. And it ain't going for a visit. I'ma kill him. Now he dead. Why I keep a bullet in the head? I ain't taking back what I said. Pillow talking, he gon' lay that bed. You can't get a word from the mail. Okay. Double cups, I can't get away from the meds. Hey, look, not too loud, I can't hear a word that you said. Hey, don't wanna hear it in the word. I heard it too fed. Let's go what? Hey, if we catch him, we gon' hit it with a leg. Hit, diamond, hit, play, hit, diamond, hit, play, hit, will, hit, chain. Oh God, that's right. What he say? Better watch it. Get up, better watch it. I hit him. Hey, better watch it. I hit him. Hey, hit, diamond, hit, chain, hit. Okay, hit, better watch it. I hit him. Hey, believe it, man. Straight up, man. It's up. Miami is lit. Forever is love for me. Money move. Let's get it. Believe. Shout out Miami. We love y'all. It's great. Yeah. Money move. Make some more noise.
All right, there you have it. We are back. Luke Thomas, Brian Campbell, Brendan Schaub. This is the Mayweather versus Paul weigh-ins. Now, where we left off last time, Brendan, you are a friend of Logan Paul. You know this man well. Surely you counseled him. Logan, you've been successful on YouTube. This is maybe a bridge too far, but he didn't want to hear that. Why?
This is prize fighting. You know, it's prize fighting, and I think for Floyd and Logan, you know, these two titans are coming together for this, and they're both going to make a ton of money. And, you know, at the end of the day, when you're talking about prize fighting, it's high stakes. You want to make the most money possible, fight the easiest opponent possible. Floyd's doing that. For Logan, it's a no, you know, if he loses, who cares? He's a YouTuber fighting the best of all time, so neither guy has much to lose here. It's a win-win for both of them.
Well, Floyd's got a little bragging rights might be apropos. As Floyd told us himself, this isn't a real fight. Technically, it's an 8-round exhibition. It's not going to count negatively on that perfect unbeaten record, win or lose, that he's worked so hard to sustain. But I do get the bragging rights element of it. They're both big stars that are, you know, really proud of what they've built. Floyd has always made it about the money because he wants to show that he can dominate in the ring and dominate with the money. I want to talk about somebody looking the part or not, okay? This is Miami. You've compared Luke and I, Chop, to Golf Network hosts. Yeah. I might be a dealer at the Hard Rock Casino by the end of the night, but you look like Miami. Yes. Has Logan Paul at all looked like a fighter to you in the build, either with his words or his actions? We know we've talked about his confidence. He's okay with the stage, but has he looked as a fighter at all?
God, that's a great question.
As a promoter, a self-promoter, he absolutely looks the part.
Best in the business.
Yeah.
Definitely looks the part. As far as a straight fighter from a trained eye, which everybody is here, even when you watch the countdowns and hitting the mitts and sparring, the answer would be no, and I hate to say the answer would be no, right? The answer is no.
I think you can say that. We can be realistic about it. He's trying to box Floyd Mayweather. This idea, we had his coach, Milton LaCroix, on at the Versace Mansion. He was like, we're going to outbox Floyd. Okay.
Did you light him up?
Listen.
Did you light him up?
No, we were there
Canelo tried that. Conor tried that.
Yeah, we were there to have fun. But my point is, why can't a moral victory be something? If you catch Floyd with one clean shot,
you've won.
You last 6 rounds. Dude, that's a victory.
I want to talk about that because I think it's already a huge victory just that Logan Paul has gotten here. Yes, he's got the ridiculous following. What is it, 29 million combined YouTube followers alone, not mentioning everything else. But for him to get a fight with Floyd Mayweather still close to his active career is absurd. Now, is that a moral victory and a financial victory, and we sit with that there? No, he's coming for it all. I'm not trying to talk you into his abilities and the chances he has to pull an upset either. But I think he is playing with house money just being here alone. How do you maximize that?
It's a win-win.
You got to go for broke. You have to create chaos.
Okay, let me posit a scenario, because he comes into this fight 0-1. Granted, this is an exhibition. It's not in that way. But still, he wouldn't technically be 0-2 if he lost, but in the eyes of the public, the entertaining public, he would be 0-2.
That's all that matters, Luke. You know, I don't mean to cut you off, but when we talk about exhibition fights, and you said it, you know, for Floyd, his record's not on the line. It is, though. It is. If Floyd were to lose tomorrow night, which is a big if, but let's say Floyd lost, we all know he lost. He got caught with a shot and lost that fight. That will be a loss. Whether the commission says it or whatever,
right.
The public knows.
Yeah.
And that viral clip of him getting knocked out will live on forever.
Right.
Vice versa. If Logan Paul gets knocked out, that's going to be a viral clip forever.
And we should make a point here to note that the rules for this bout, again, it is an exhibition. They are unusual, even by exhibition standards. Here's what I mean. It'll be 8 rounds, 3 minutes. That's somewhat curtailed. The part that's interesting is there's no judges. There will be no announced winner. But Florida, being Florida, God bless them, they are allowing knockouts. In other exhibitions you've seen this year, they did not do that. So the gloves are on, but metaphorically speaking, BC, they're a little bit
not
off.
only that, they were originally 12 ounces to start. Floyd got that negotiated down by challenging Logan down to 10 ounces. Floyd was even trying to go further. He's saying, how about we go to 8 ounces? That's what I boxed with as a welterweight. So
I would have loved that.
Those rules aside, why would you?
Hand speed or
hand speed, the increase of a knockout, because again, there's a part of me as a purist. If this thing goes longer than 4 rounds and Floyd doesn't absolutely flawlessly dominate, it's tough. As a purist, it's tough, man. It's a huge black eye on boxing. I got to be honest.
Do you think so? Is boxing,
do.
You think in your mind boxing is sort of on the line here?
I do, and I also don't think this fight would happen if boxing wasn't such a... it's not like UFC, right? UFC, we get the fights we want to see for the most part. In boxing, we don't. And that's why this rears its head, and these guys come out and do this stuff.
And also, Floyd's retired. He's not taking fights away from other top contenders looking to advance.
True.
This is a little bit to the side.
But look, we can't overlook what we just established. The reputation is on the line for Floyd. But the idea that he's fighting for boxing is interesting. And I talked to Floyd's right-hand man, Leonard Ellerby, Luke and I did as well, where Leonard said, I've never seen Floyd received as the babyface, if we're using pro wrestling terms, received as the hero. He's either been the villain naturally, he's the heel. He's purposely been the heel to make a lot of money. Is he really fighting for boxing, though? Like, Luke, is that still a thing? I mean, as traditional boxing fans, the one that say they're not buying this, but you know they will.
I think,
are they cheering for him to...
Here's where I'm at on this. I wonder how you gentlemen feel. You can't overstate the case. You know what? Let's pause. We'll come back. We'll answer that. Let's go back to the live stage for more entertainment.
Ooh.
DJ Khaled, we the best.
If you ready for kick, gotta put your hands up for this guy one time.
The runners, I represent the ghetto across the world, and you represent the hood. Two hands in the sky.
I'm so, I wear my pants below my waist and I never dance when I'm in this place cause you and your man was planning to hate. We from the hood. And I got these goals up in my mouth. If you get closer to your house, then you know what I'm talking about. We out the hood.
And if you feel
Put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up. Put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up. If you not from here, you can walk it out. If you not hood and you don't know what I'm talking about. Everybody wanna motherfucker know why I dress so fly, sit so high, bitch. I do it for the hood. Bitch ass niggas, I do it cause I could. Heavy stars in my jeans, please. 4 X in a white tee. I live a life like a G, that's why these bitch ass niggas wanna fight me. But I ain't gon' play with them. I'd rather let the AK hit them. Tough niggas get fucked up and put on ice for the rest of their life. I'm straight out the hood, bruh. See, that's who I do it for. And my low class ghetto ass just to use my ghetto pants. Yeah, I wear my pants and on my waist and I never dance when I'm in this place. Cause you and your man was planning to hate. I'm so hood. And I got these goals up in my mouth. If you get closer to my house, then you know what I'm talking about. I'm out the hood. Put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up. Hood. Put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up. I'm so hood.
if you not from here, you can
Walk it out.
And you not hood, you don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm so motherfucking hood.
What a sound man in. Well, I can't. Who controlling the mics? Where you at?
Make sure you can hear me, man. I bet I got everything betted on Floyd, too. Fuck that. And I'm praying Ocho don't get knocked out like Nate. Come on, let's play the Dade County theme song right quick.
Hey, listen, let me hear you say Trick Daddy. Say Trick Daddy. Say Trick Daddy. Say Trick Daddy. Say we finna get this bitch out the chain. We finna get this bitch out the chain.
Anybody want a motherfucking die?
We finna get this bitch out the chain.
Anybody want a motherfucking die? Come see me, T-double-D, nigga. That's right, that's motherfucking me, nigga. And goddamn it, if I said it, I motherfucking mean it. If it was fully, I motherfucking spit it. Fuck whoever I offended. Hold on.
Wait one motherfucking minute. Huh? What we doing? Still riding them big wheels.
Still fly, still riding.
Get big chill. Still leaning to the bag.
To the bag.
And you can bet that.
Yo,
and you can bet that.
I ride, I shine, nigga.
And you can bet that.
I smoke, I drink, go
And you
loco.
can bet that.
22, 24's how we roll. I'm a dumb rider for sure. Every day, me and the dogs, we wild.
We wild.
7 Trey, 7-5, don't ride.
Don't ride.
And we ain't tripping on nothing, just vibing. Big 9 with the case of
fuck nigga try me.
He already knows.
No.
I let it go. Kill his ass and make sure that it's good roll. But how the hell a OB gon' try me? Well, I'm OG on and off DVC. Middle fingers in the air, tell him fuck y'all. Trying to hate on my dog, hell fuck no. Why you hating on a nigga like that? Why you trying to stab a nigga in his back? I know some niggas don't like this, and them niggas is the reason I'm like this. Fuck nigga that made me mad. I'm about to snap and put this K on his ass. Sitting high, still riding them big whips.
Still fly, still riding, getting big
checks.
Still thugging, still leaning to the bag. And you can bet that.
Yo, and you can bet that. I ride, I shine, nigga, you know that. I smoke, I drink, go Logan. 22, 24's how we roll. I'm a dope rider for sure. Y'all acting bougie as fuck in this motherfucker. Y'all acting, but they should have gave us some liquor, cause you know how people act different on that motherfucking liquor. Let's go, Chronic.
Let's go. Huh? Hey, Dade County, put your motherfucking hands up. If you was Dade County, put your motherfucking hands up and let's get live in this bitch.
Let's go. If you want it, you can get it. Let me know. Let me know. Let's go.
If you want it, you can get it. Let me know.
Let me know.
I'm about to break this nigga up. Let's go.
Come get some. That's where I'm from with your big gun. And everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. And I want answers now. Who, what, when, where, why. A lot of dudes like to act the fool and I'll get online, but that ain't my style. So who you gonna get? And what he gonna do? Run up on me if he want to. I dare pressing his homie. I get that up in front of his mama. I'm up the flow with him. I can get in the door and let the flow hit him. I got dudes that'll go get him. That's for him, it's cool, and the food that roll with him. If you want it, you can get it. Let me know. I'm about to break this thing up. Let's go.
If you want it, you can get it. Let me know.
Let me know.
I'm about to break this nigga up. Let's go.
The AK go chop, 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 chop. They say don't give a fuck how many records you sold or nothing. You got to get on stage in 5 or 10 minutes. But I don't think everybody that always supported Trick Daddy supported down south music. I remember about 20 years ago, they ain't want to play none of our shit. We used to go all over the world. You never heard Miami music. All they wanted was the girls and the cocaine. That's all they wanted. I had to make them respect us, so I dropped this record right here. You don't know now, nigga. That'll represent like me. Who'll say some shit like me? One whole lady dick like me. Cause you don't know now, nigga. Won't do the shit that I do. Run through your whole little crew. Pay for it if I got to. You don't know now, nigga. Won't run off in your eyes. Put a gun off in your mind. Blow your motherfucking brains out. Cause you don't know now, nigga. Won't fall off in the club. Free drinks for the show some love. And pay the ball for the thugs. But you don't know now, nigga. Who know more niggas than me? Who do more killers than me? And way more dope dealers than me, bitch. You don't know now, nigga. No. Bitch, you don't know now, nigga. No. You don't know now, nigga. That dress fresher than me. You don't know now, nigga. That way more polo shit than me, bitch. You don't know now, nigga. Who do more freaky stuff? And he put you little eggs up. Then I blow it all in your butt. I don't know now, ho. Who like the dick like you? Who bite the dick like you? Hold up like a bitch like you. I don't like a bitch like you. I fight a bitch like you. Whole type of bitch like you. Ain't no telling what you want to do, bitch. You don't know now, nigga. No. You don't know now, nigga. No. You don't know now, nigga. So, what my ladies at? My ladies, y'all go see this one? No.
You don't know now, ho. Done been to places I've been.
No. Yo, I'm out of here. I love y'all, man.
Yeah, that's like that. Hit him in the chest with it. One time again in the head. But Buddy roll, y'all. Check it out.
There you have it, Trick Daddy, Miami legend, but we have other business to attend to at the moment, which of course will be the impending Mayweather versus Paul Wayans. Logan won, Luke Thomas, Brian Campbell, Brendan Schaub, and at the end of the table, or I should say the row, one of the most distinguished combat athletes of our generation herself. She is currently the Bellator Women's Featherweight Champion.
Come on, man.
It's Chris Cyborg. Chris, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How's it going to be great here, man?
Yeah, right?
It's nice to have you. What do you think of this entire event?
I love it. I think it's a great for sport. I think a lot of people, Logan fans, come here to watch the fights, come into the boxing world, and I'm really happy.
Now, you don't, how long do you think this fight's going to go?
I think Mayweather going to play a little bit, finish the time you want to finish.
You're right.
But I think so.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Chris, you've been the champion in so many different organizations, different eras of this sport. You've seen it all. Obviously, this is a different type of boxing. How interested would you be in this kind of crossover event, whether it be against a boxer, against a celebrity? Does that interest you at this point in your career?
No, I've been playing, asking if Jacob Paul have a sister or ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, right?
You know,
But you've done the crossover thing. You fought Urena Bars in kickboxing. You've done the real thing.
Yes,
no
that's
exhibition before.
yes, you know, and Urena Bars was one of the best in kickboxing.
Monster.
A very tough fight.
That was a tough fight.
And I didn't know either.
Yeah.
You know, I go over there and then fought, and I don't have a girl to me fight. She's 3 years of fighting, and that's after fight. I love challenge, and this is the good thing.
What about like a Clarissa Shields in a super fight? I knew you guys sparred together, trained together. Have you guys seen that footage?
I know
Clarissa Shields?
You and Clarissa Shields are friends, right?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. But if you pay good,
That's what I'm saying.
it's a sport. It's a sport. You know, I don't hate my opponents. It's a sport, of course. I don't like to fight her, but if it happens, it would be good for both. You know, why not?
Yep.
Now, your contract, it does allow you to box, as I understand?
Yes, if I talk to Scott Coker and then they let me, yes.
But you're right now, you just had a big win. You defend your title against Leslie Smith.
Yes.
It might be Alpha Cat Zingano next. Still, down the road, being here and seeing this and thinking about your future, would you be interested in something like this if the opportunity was right?
You know, for sure. I think the first thing why I signed with Bellator MMA is because I have the opportunity to do another things, especially a boxing fight. I love challenge, and for sure I would like to do one boxing fight and see what's the next for the future for me.
Chris, you're an absolute legend in your game. Floyd Mayweather is the best of this era, among the best of all time.
Yes.
What do you see in him as an athlete that you can learn from, that you admire and look up to?
You know, he's smart and he's very calm when he's fighting. If you see me in my next fight, I try a little bit. You know, within 5 rounds doing it, I work with this. I work a lot of patience in my fights. I have a lot of some mistakes in my career, because I use so much emotion. But you have to be cold and see the opportunity when I finish the fight. This last fight, I did this. I work every moment. I think every moment in the fight, and then listen everything, single thing in the corner. I work this for more patience in the fight, and you finish the time is supposed the moment right.
So when Mayweather fought McGregor, you had no doubt Mayweather was going to win, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Yeah, the level's just too high.
Yes, it's different. It's different. You're like a white belt, a black belt. It's different.
But still, okay, we all think Floyd's going to win. He'll win probably however he wants. Logan is a big guy, about 190 pounds long. If you were Logan and you had to fight Floyd, what would you do?
Great question.
I think you have to survive, do his best. And I know if you touch it, Mayweather is going to be hard because it's quite hard. But Mayweather is fast. He's going to have to try use his power.
What about a little tie clinch? Just let it go, right?
Maybe take down.
Get a little dirty. A little takedown in there. Yeah.
Hey, in a sport where not everybody has the greatest ink and tattoo game, Brendan, he's lit up. He knows what he's doing here. The champ over here, she's got some
great work. How long did it take to get all that?
A little while. I started with 19.
Yeah.
My mom not happy about, but
yeah.
I finished already. I know it's too much pain. I don't want to handle it no more.
I think my favorite tattoo is the forearm one.
Yes, the name.
That's the legendary one, right?
Yeah, some people look at me, they think it's cyber, they look my arm, I cannot hide anymore.
They can identify you right away. All right, so you just fought, last month, I think?
Two weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Okay, so when do you think you might get back out there? It might be Zingano, we don't know yet. In a perfect world, when does Cyborg fight again?
I ask Scott Cook anytime. I'm good. No injury. I'm in training. Anytime. In 2 months, I'm ready.
2 months?
Yes.
Wow. Do you have any plans to maybe... It's going to be 145 no matter what from here on out?
Yes, 145, yes.
You won't even contemplate any weight? What about 155? Would you do 155?
I would like to fight 55. 55, I don't have to lose a little bit of weight, but it's going to be perfect too.
All right, before we let you go, you got to give us some kind of a prediction, Chris. Mayweather, Paul, what round does it end in?
Let's get a 7.
Wow.
You think it goes that long?
Maybe.
Okay.
When you sell the fight, you have to sell the fight.
Yes.
I don't know, 7 because I like number 7. It's never perfection of God. 7.
7. Okay.
Well,
congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see you again. Chris Cyborg, the Bellator Women's Featherweight Champion of the world. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Great stuff.
Okay. Someone has to... Yes, there we go. Ashley, taking her sweet time. That's fun here.
A group of celebrities waiting to chat with us.
Let's reset here for just a second if we can. Brendan Shaw, Brian Campbell, Luke Thomas. All right, Brendan, we had stopped previously before the Trick Daddy performance to ask a question about is boxing sort of on the line reputationally. Here was the one point that I wanted to make. When these MMA fighters lose, all of us in MMA say, well, it may or may not kind of matter. These guys they're not fighting MMA. They're moving into something else. So how representative can it be? That's at least the argument. But still, you get enough of those L's, it adds up. Floyd is just one person, but he's Floyd Mayweather. He's a boxing institution.
Yes.
I kind of do think there's a little bit on the line, as individual as it might be for Floyd.
100%. Even if you go back to Jake Paul and Ben Askren, as a former UFC fighter, as much as I like the Paul brothers and Jake, I wanted Ben to win. And I talked to Ben, like, you're representing MMA. You're representing the UFC. Do you feel that pressure? He's like, yeah, I feel like even my haters are like, man, I hope you beat Jake Paul. Like, the MMA community rally around their guy as much, even if they hate him. And when he was competing in the UFC and, he talked all that trash and he was the heel most of the fights. And, obviously people are happy to see the Masvidal knockout. The community still rallied around him because he was our guy.
Right.
Floyd is boxing's guy. He's the face of boxing. I think it's crazy that you don't, not that I'm not saying you guys, but for society to not think the pressure's on Floyd here.
I think, yeah.
To represent boxing as a whole.
Floyd has worked so hard to be undefeated, but so has Father Time. And someday it's going to catch him. I'm not trying to oversell this for Sunday night, but someday
I'm not either, but like when I had Jake Paul on Food Truck Diaries, he goes, as fighters, sometimes you have a bad night. So we got to hope Floyd has a bad night, Logan has a real good night, and Floyd's missed a step. I went, Whoa, Bubba. You got to hope Floyd's missed 10 steps.
Right.
One step's
I hope
not
he
enough.
drives to the wrong arena.
You got to hope he shows up with binoculars.
Well, let's continue this conversation, but joining us now on stage is another luminary from the Bellator family. He will be fighting. We don't know the date just yet, but we know the opponent and we know the stakes. It will be for the Bellator featherweight title, the winner of the Grand Prix. This gentleman is one half of the finals.
Too,
yeah,
okay?
$1 million smackers. It's AJ McKee. AJ, welcome. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
And I want to put this out there. I picked him to win it from the jump. I want that on record. Yeah, from the jump.
All right, fair enough.
Stump the shop over here.
What's
The
up,
Swami's
Doug?
on
Remember
fire.
that guy?
AJ, you may be the best dressed man in the building right now.
You look good, man.
Thank
Looking
you,
good.
man. I learned from you guys.
Let me see the watch. Yeah, that's a nice watch.
Wait for the next one. Shout out the Newport Watch Club, man.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
All right.
AJ, I want to start there with the Pitbull fight because there's so, I mean, it's so big that I've heard longtime guys in the industry say this might be the biggest fight in Bellator history. If you identify with that, sell me on why.
Why? I mean, just look at Pitbull's accolades alone. 145, 155-pound champ. Just the name Pitbull alone, it's been ringing in Bellator for so long. He's been the champ since I first signed to Bellator, so 17 fights he's held that world title. Once again, you got the Floyd Mayweather of MMA standing in front of him. I've called his name since I signed, so I'm looking forward to going in there and just putting my first mark on my legacy and continuing my father's.
Papa, he called himself the Floyd Mayweather of MMA. That's big ones they call that. Where I
Big ones, big huevos.
Yeah.
Big huevos. Do you see any holes in Pitbull's game? It's tough, right? He's a pretty dominant fighter.
He's a dominant fighter, but styles make fights, and you know that.
Yeah.
For me, my style is just so superior to him. The reach, he has to get past the reach. On top of, once he gets past the reach, he has to deal with the elbows, the knees. If he takes me down, I'm comfortable off my back. So for me, I just got to go out there and fight a smart fight. You know what I mean? Don't leave any loopholes and just expose him of his.
Yep. AJ, what do you make of this? It's almost like Floyd Mayweather is fighting a fan. You know?
It is. It's entertainment. You know what I mean? Floyd said it himself. He said, "I don't fight anymore."
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is a great opportunity. It's a great marketing exposure. It's surreal to me. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, man, that's what I need. I wanted to fight Floyd. I want to fight Floyd. Like that's the exposure I need. I need to get that paycheck. You know what I mean? That just to solicit yourself as that echelon of the elite fighters. So it's going to be a big move, but I think he ruffled Floyd's feathers the wrong way this fight, taking his hat.
How long do you think it goes?
I'll tell you what is true, though.
As long as Floyd wants, right?
Exactly. As long as Floyd, I think he's going to probably soften his body up. He might just hurt him to the body and really punish him.
Agree 100%.
Because the height's going to be
an issue, yeah.
If Logan Paul asked you for one piece of advice in this fight, what would you give him?
Great question.
Don't take the fight?
pretty much. Just get after him. You know what I mean? Go in there like a shark smelling.
Right, you're not going to beat Floyd over the long haul. So it's 100 miles an hour. Just go.
He's got to get him out of there in the first 2 rounds.
Right.
If he doesn't, it's a wrap.
All right, we're short on time. Do you know when your finals for the Bellator Featherweight Grand Prix is going to be yet?
Where it's going to be?
When?
No. Hopefully it'll be in LA. I get to fight back home and bring that world title and my $1 million check.
So there's a chance it won't be at Mohegan. They could move it around.
Correct.
Wow. Okay.
Correct.
Well, you know what? We can't wait to see it. We appreciate you stopping by. Enjoy the craziness tomorrow, and we can't wait to see you fight whenever that may be.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you so
me,
much.
guys.
AJ
Appreciate
McKee.
it.
Don't let me down.
Nah,
You're
I
my
got
guy.
you. Hey, bet on a second-round finish.
You got it.
Oh, okay.
And I like to bet. So,
Yes, you do. You are a degenerate. That is true. All right, we think we're just moments away from going back to the stage for just a second. Real quickly, BC, we haven't talked about it, and we'll get back to it a little bit later as well. Chad Ochocinco's on this card. Chad Johnson, the former NFL player.
Big draw.
I got to say, he's had a completely different attitude than what I thought he was going to have.
He's been humble. He says, I'm out of my element, and I want to respect that. He's going in there against Brian Maxwell, a 33-year-old who's got like a little bit of boxing experience, a little bit more BKFC experience, but this is fish out of water. He's got the guts to do it in the
Would you want to box a guy who won at BKFC? I'm not sure that I would.
No, what kind of savage signs up for bare knuckle fighting? I fought in the UFC for a long time. I would not fight a guy who decided to do a bare knuckle boxing match, especially if I'm Chad Ochocinco.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a bad idea for him.
He's a great athlete. He looked to be in tremendous shape when we saw him yesterday when you stopped by the set. So I don't think he's physically unprepared. But there's a question like, dude, if you fought in boxing and you won at bare knuckle, you're probably a very tough, scrappy person who's had. So, like, your whole life has probably been somewhat.
And you know how it is. Yeah, and you know how it is. Like, especially if you don't have boxing experience, like, if you go to Golden Gloves and it's like a newer guy, the toughest guy always wins, always breaks the other guy. That's kind of what's going on here. I don't.
Like the first night in jail, too.
Yeah, with the matchmaking, I don't know what Chad Ochocinco's first one. I feel like it's a bad idea.
Did you ever box when you trained?
Yeah, I was a Golden Gloves champion.
But I mean, like with the shoes on.
Oh, yeah.
3-minute rounds.
Big time. Yeah, with Devere Williamson, Touch of Sleep. Yeah, I would spar with him every Tuesday. It's just that.
What was so hard about, from an MMA perspective, doing the boxing rules? What was so hard about it?
Their angles. He would see things before it even happened, so it almost felt like I was in. I was in water, and he could see everything. It's just the gap is so huge to try and make up for that.
Right.
It was almost to be honest, it was a waste of time.
Right. So that fight will be on the card. Obviously, Mayweather Paul will be the headliner. There is one, I would call it very real, very traditional boxing fight on this.
Two of them, but one of them is there's some heat